Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, yes. Here we are. It's Throwdown Thursday. Yeah. Throwdown Thursday, day 133. And we are here now with us right now, having a blast with this Throwdown Thursday. Sorry, I'm actually still working on something. So, how are you people doing this fine, lovely evening? Because you know what? We're going to talk about your habits are your home base. Because when life gets loud, when it gets chaotic or uncertain, when you experience that confusion that life throws at you, you're not going to rise to the level of your goals. You're going to fall back to the level of your habits. So you need to build that foundation. So like building a skyscraper. How far down into the ground do they go building that foundation for that skyscraper that goes all the way up to the skies? You fix the base and a whole house stands strong. You fix your base, your habits, your discipline, and you're unstoppable. See, your habits are the invisible architecture of your destiny. They decide whether you're going to stand tall like a skyscraper or whether you're going to crumble under the pressure. We've all experienced some time when we're overwhelmed. And one of the times that I bring up a lot is my house fire. After I lost everything and I found in a ditch half naked a week before Christmas, as everything of mine burns to the ground, I was overwhelmed. I was living for the next month in a friend's house on their couch, took in by their family with their kids. Talking about my home base then being destroyed. But you know what? That was my daily discipline that took over. It was me getting up and going to work every day. It was here on reading positive motivational things. It was listening to positive motivational tapes at that time. We didn't have Spotify back then. We had actual audio tapes that we had to stick in a car and listen to. We had books that we read. I had post-it notes I'd put up everywhere where I was, in my car or in my makeshift apartment that I made for myself in the back of the business. But I made it a point to focus on my daily dose of positive motivation to keep my brain going, to keep me going. Because without that positive motivation, without that positive thoughts coming into your head, praying and focusing on what you want to accomplish, where you want to go, without those habits, without that discipline, that's what kept me grounded. So you have to ask yourself, what's your home base? What do you fall back on when life hits you hard? Some people pray. Some people go to motivational tapes. Some people go to meditate. It doesn't matter what you do, just as long as you do something. And you do it on a daily basis. And you focus on that. That keeps you strong and builds that foundation so that when life does hit you, because life is going to hit you. So when life hits you and challenges you, you're able to stand tall. You know, and that's what's really important. Because see, you know, it's not your home base isn't where you live. It's how you live. It's what's in here. In here. It's what defines your identity. It's what defines your daily habits. It's what defines who you are. And if your habits are weak, well, guess what's weak? But if your habits are strong, I mean, look at the Sears Tower or the Burj Khalifa, how tall they are. Imagine how deep the foundation is for those buildings because they reach so far up into the sky. You know, so if your morning starts with confusion, you wake up in the morning after you try and hit that snooze button 8 or 10 or 12 times, and you run around like a chicken with your head cut off. You know, oh my God, what am I going to do today? Well, you know what? Your habits are creating a confusion. It's creating your day of a chaotic day. And it's just going to carry on. But if you start your morning with meditation, start your morning with prayer, start your morning with a strict defined list of in your journal, listing the things that you want to accomplish in a day. Wake up and be thankful that you woke up. There are cemeteries around the world filled with people that thought they had another day. Be thankful that you had it that day. Because when you wake up in the morning and your morning starts with clarity and gratitude, your day will mirror it. The rest of the day will be unbelievable. Because the fact that first 20 minutes of waking up, that's you actually programming your mind from your brain shifting from dreaming to actually working. And during that time period, your brain is forming those cognitive paths on, let's see what kind of day are we going to build. And so if you wake up and jump out of bed and run around like a chicken with your head cut off, guess what? You don't give yourself the opportunity to build that strong connection between your restful brain and your actually thinking day. And so therefore, the rest of the day is chaotic, filled with confusion. So I want to try and have you think about one thing that you can do every morning to help strengthen your day, to make it a more positive. Doesn't have to be a lot, doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to try and run around the block 800 times or sit there and do 80 Hail Marys or whatever like that. No, just wake up and be thankful. Say, hey, you know what? I'm going to wake up and I'm going to give myself 5 minutes. 5 minutes! That's all I'm asking you to do. Give yourself 5 minutes. Before you pick up that cell phone and start going through doom scrolling on Facebook, yes, that's all negative crap. Ignore that. Before you turn on that TV to listen to whatever, God knows what, the president or whatever, whoever, Ayatollah, whatever is doing in the world now, or whatever disease is, whatever. Don't turn that crap on. Wake up and grab your own journal and write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Wake up, write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Write down 3 things that you want to see you improve in yourself. Maybe 3 things where you'd like to see yourself in 5 years. But write something down. Give yourself that 5 minutes. Don't give it to Facebook. Don't give it to whoever, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Don't give it to anybody else. Don't give it to your kids. Don't give it to your spouse or partner. Don't give it to your work, that's for sure. God, no, don't give it to your boss. Give it to yourself. Pay yourself first. And if that means trying and waking up and praying for 5 minutes so you can feel your spiritualness fill up, then do that. God's not going to care. He's going to love it. You're going to love it. It's going to make you feel wonderful that you actually gave to yourself for once instead of everybody else. We run around on a daily basis all the time giving and doing for everybody else. We should wake up and give to ourselves at least 5 minutes. First thing in the morning when we wake up. Because that's how you rebuild your life. Start off small with 5 minutes in the morning. Give it to yourself. If you have to work out, fine, work out. If you have to meditate, fine, meditate. If you have to try and write things down, fine. Write down what you're grateful for. Spend 5 minutes and talk to God. Spend 5 minutes and talk to yourself. Spend 5 minutes and reflect. Point is give yourself that 5 minutes of you time. Lord knows, I love getting up. And yes, the first thing I do when I get up is I'll get my coffee. And then I will sit there and I will drink 1 cup of coffee in total silence, enjoying the morning, being thankful for the things I've gotten. And then from there, I'll put something motivational on to listen. And during that time period, that's when I actually pick up and start reading what that morning's, what this day's motivational quote is about. Like today's motivational quote is about your habits are your home base. Because see, momentum isn't magic. It's maintenance. And that moment that you spend on yourself in the morning is your maintenance for yourself. To build yourself up, to make your day that much better. You can't build a championship on practice effort. Because see, when you fix your habits and you focus on the good habits and focus on them on a daily basis, your whole house will stand stronger. Because those habits are your foundation. Those habits are the brick and mortar to your house. And when you work on those, you're building your house strong. And that's why in the mornings when you wake up, you need to protect it, strengthen it, live from it. Because life is always going to be chaotic. Men in Black put it best, that movie Men in Black, where Agent K tells Will Smith, like, there's always a Transnubian war cruiser. There's always a bubonic plague. There's always something that's going to end the world. And you know what? There's always something that's going to cause chaos in your life. But it's how you're going to react to it. It's how you're going to handle it. It's how you're going to withstand those storms. See, and here's the thing, when I never understood, and I keep asking myself, I don't understand, why do people live in California when they have wildfires every season, or mudslides every season, or droughts every season, or God knows what every season? I never understood that. But then you try and read about the people living in Florida where you got hurricane season, and you got summer season, where then they got the red tide, and they got this, and they got that. And we're not going to talk about the alligators or the iguanas that fall out of the trees. But, you know, and I'm like, And that's when I realized that they actually prepare for the storms. See, when hurricane season comes, you got the people that actually buy the plywood and stuff like this, and they prepare their houses. They get prepared to protect their houses. They get prepared to try to take care of their family. They get prepared to try and have an evacuation route. They have ideas and plans on how to protect themselves and how to try and meet up if something happens with their families. Same thing in California. Mudslides and fires. Oh my. People prepare for these things. And then let's not forget Oklahoma, the tornado capital of the world, where they prepare for tornadoes all the time. See, if you're willing to prepare for a tornado or a hurricane or whatever like this, why aren't you preparing for your destiny? Why aren't you preparing for your future? Why aren't you preparing for when your life gets chaotic? By giving yourself that 5 minutes in the morning to reflect. Give yourself that 5 minutes in the morning to give some gratitude. Give yourself that 5 minutes in the morning to listen to something positive, to program your mind so it can handle the chaos of the day. Because you know what? Life always gets deeper. Life always gets harder. Life doesn't get easier. You learn how to handle it better. See, it's like playing your PS5 or PS4 or whatever video games you play. All right? The first time you play it, you're going to die. And you're going to die horribly on the game. I mean, you're just going to... you fall off and you jump off and God knows where. You know, the Super Mario Brothers, man. And you suck. The first couple hundred times you play the game, you suck. Maybe even if you're like me, the first couple thousand times you play the game, you're gonna suck. But then there's that one day. It's the same level, but there's that one day when you beat that level. Life is like that. The first time you try something, you might suck. You're not going to get it on a first go. You might not get it on a second go, or you're not even third. I mean, hell, I went through 3 marriages. First 2 didn't work that well. Third one, didn't work that well either. But you know what? At least we had a mutual understanding on that one. We agreed we were better off as friends. And you know what? We are best of friends. But the point is, though, is that life doesn't get easier. You learn how to overcome that level. The games you play on the PS4 or PS5 or Xbox, they don't get easier. They're the same game. You learn how to play it better. And that's how life is. The chaos that comes into it, if it doesn't kill you, it teaches you. It helps you move on to the next level. So that when that chaotic time comes back, you're able to handle it. You're able to zip right through it. Oh man, what? I fell myself in so far in credit card debt? No problem. I'll just work a little harder and I'll start making payments. Sure beats filing bankruptcy the first time, right? Oh man, I got fired from my work. All right, no problem. I know now that I can't drink on a job. Yeah, stupid stuff like that. We learn from our mistakes. Oh, hey, I got fired on a job. I guess I can't try and hang out with my friends on the phone all day long while I'm working. No. Or oh man, I failed 8th grade. I guess I should go to school more often instead of trying and playing hooky after Dad drops me off at school. Well, and actually spend some time doing my schoolwork. See, we learn from our mistakes. Well, for me, it was, well, gee, I probably shouldn't use my computer to do illegal activities at 17 years old. And you know what? I learned pretty well. I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that in 30-something years, thank God. Not going to either. There's this thing. I like freedom. But you know, the thing is, though, life doesn't get easier. We just learn how to play the game better. We learn how to connect and get to the next level. We know when to jump instead of stand there waiting for the arm to swing by and hit us over the head with something. We know. We learn. And that's the important thing, is because your habits are your home base. When life gets loud and chaotic and all that stuff, you're going to fall back down to the level of your habits. I don't know about you, but how many of you played Super Mario Brothers? And the very first level, you want to try and run and jump so you can get that mushroom, the very first mushroom. How many people? Nice, yes, this is true. I mean, how many people, we've all played Super Mario Brothers at least once in our life. And that's the thing, the very first level, what we do is we just take off running and we jump for the first mushroom that we can. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. But if we keep running, we run into one of those mushroom dudes that knock us over the next Tuesday and make us start all over again. We learn that you don't want to do that. And well, you know what? We learn that, hey, you don't drive 75 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone. Hey, you don't show up late to work all the time. Hey, you turn your homework in on time. We learn these things so that we can deal with it. And we build ourselves up. Because see, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win Super Mario Brothers. But how many of you actually sat there and gave the amount of time and effort and time? Did I say time? I'm going to repeat myself in case people are thinking I'm speaking French or Spanish or German or Bangladesh. Time. How many people have spent the time to finish Super Mario Brothers all the way to the end to win? See, that's the thing. Is most people give up. They want to win, but they give up before they get to that level. And that's where I'm kind of like stressing to people that, you know what? If you focus on your goals and your ambitions, and you focus on those habits, life will get easier the more you work on your habits on a daily basis. Because life isn't going to get easier. You just learn how to deal with it better. And the better that you are able to deal with the life's challenges, the more likely you're going to win. See, everybody has a season in their life where everything falls apart. Everything. I mean, seriously. We all go through that. And I usually actually joke about the idea that it's about a 10-year cycle. Every 10 years, you have a year from hell. All right? Or at least that's what it's like for me. Every 10 years, a year from hell. You know, from the year from hell where my mother passed away, and I rolled my Ford Explorer, I killed Bambi twice, I rented a semi-truck, my house burnt down. You know, all within 1 year. All right? And about 10 years later, technicians are stealing from me left and right. My less than 1 year old daughter's in and out of hospital, almost dying. My business is failing because my technicians are getting, my people that are working for me are selling computers out the back door and collecting the money off of me. I mean, hey, Natasha, I mean, I firmly believe that every 10 years we have a life cycle. And you know what? Something interesting is I read in somewhere that every 10 years your body actually reproduces itself. All the skin reproduces and all the other stuff like that because your skin sheds. All that dust in your house, is actually shedded skin. I'll never think about walking around in a mall again seeing all that dust everywhere. Ugh, yuck. But you know what? That's something I read. That in all essence, our body changes every 10 years. And so I joke that, hey, it's 10 years, every 10 years, you're going to get a year from hell. You know, and I've had a couple of years from hell. I mean, from the house fire year to my daughter being sick year to about, you know, back in 2020, I almost died. I mean, literally, I was on death's bed. You know, between COVID to not even a couple months later, I ended up with sepsis, where I'm in the emergency room in intensive care. You know, where they got ice on my chest and all sorts of other shit. I don't even remember it. I don't. So I mean, it's just. But life doesn't get easier. You just learn how to deal with it. And from that time period, I learned, well, hey, you know what? You don't want to catch COVID. You don't want to catch any sort of diseases. You want to stay away from them like the plague. All right. I also learned to take care of yourself. Drink more water. The reason I ended up with sepsis is because I had kidney stones, which I've always had kidney stones since I was young. Because when I was in my teens, I drank so much soda that my urine turned different colors. I mean, we're not talking like a dark yellow. We're talking like a light brown. Well, that's because I drank so much RC or too much Coca-Cola. You know? But I found out that all that soda was bad for my kidneys back then. And so I basically ruined my kidneys over my lifetime from drinking all that soda as a youngin'. Now, for the last 20 years, I drink mostly water. I mean, I'll have a soda every now and then. It's good stuff, you know. We are all addicted to it, crap. Not the best for you, but, you know, everything in moderation. But you know what? I changed my habits from drinking soda all the time to drinking water all the time because I wanted to change my life. When you want to change your life, you change your habits. And when your life is chaotic and everything's falling apart, you need to try and re-ascertain those habits that you have going on for you. You need to take inventory of them. Write down the good ones and write down the bad ones. So that when life hits you hard, you can look at the habits and say, well, you know what? I couldn't handle life because of this habit, but if I learned this habit, I think I could probably handle it a lot better. And so those habits that help build your foundation will help build your home base. So when life challenges you, you can fall back on that habit and coast right on through. See, one of my favorite quotes out there is, you can't control the wind, but you can control the sail in your boat. Meaning that, you know what, while you're on the ocean, while you're in your boat, boats are safe in a harbor, but that's not what boats are made for. And so therefore, once you get out on the ocean, you're going to run into some good wind that's going to try and help push you in one direction or another. And then there's the storms that will give you really bad wind, like a hurricane. And while hurricanes, boats aren't safe in a harbor from a hurricane. But you can take your sail down and wrap it up and batten down the hatches and run that storm out. You can withstand that storm. Because that's what boats are made for. They're made to be out in the ocean. They're not made to sit in a harbor. And a boat in a harbor during a storm is not very safe. So, while you can control the sail, you can't control the wind. But you can pull the sail in and ride the storm out. You can't go crawling home to the harbor and expect to be safe from there. You have to develop the habits to roll your sail up properly. You have to develop the habits of trying and protecting yourself and protecting your habits. You have to learn how to try and overcome the challenges that are in your life. Because those automatic behaviors that form when you try and work on your habits, those are what help you ride the storm out. Those are what build your foundation so you can build your house all the way to the sky. Those are what build clarity in your life and help your decisions stay sharp. Because if you set your habits to be procrastinating in life, guess what? You're going to fall behind. Whereas if you set your habits to focus on learning how to be disciplined, you'll always find a way forward. And if you set your habits to try and always focus on the chaos and the drama going on around you, well, guess what? You're going to constantly feel unstable. But if you build your house, if you build your habits on clarity, your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions will stay sharp. Hey, Alicia. Because see, your habits are the quiet architects of your future. You don't need a new life. You just need new patterns. So once again, tonight, when you go to bed tonight, write down one habit that builds you and one habit that breaks you. And the habit that builds you, I want you to tape that to your bathroom mirror. So when you wake up in the morning, you look at that and say, you know what? I'm going to do this today. And the habit that breaks you, burn it. Burn it. Rip it up. Throw it away. You don't need that habit anymore. You can do it. Because if I can break the habit as a teenager to get away from soda, which, kids love soda, I'm sure you can break whatever habit you have. My grandmother broke the habit of smoking. My best friend broke the habit of cocaine. So another good friend of mine broke the habit of meth. She's going on 5 years strong without meth. And meth supposedly is one of those drugs that instantaneously you're addicted to it once you suck it up. So, you know what? If they can do it, you can do it. Because I believed in them and I believe in you. See, life is not determined by what you want. It's determined by what you repeat. Momentum isn't created by the moments. It's created by the small, consistent, boring, unsexy habits. Hey, Miles. Those things that you do when nobody is watching. Those ideas that you're trying and work on when nobody's watching. When nobody's there to pat you on the back and say, attaboy. That's when your momentum is built. Champions aren't built when they step onto the field to run down the court at the championship games. Champions aren't built the day of the tournaments. Champions aren't built the day they step out for the Olympic Games. They're built at 3 o'clock in the morning running down a block practicing on running. They're built in the gymnasium at the gym trying lifting weights 200, 300, 400 times, a couple times a day when nobody's watching, while everybody else is out drinking beer and having a good time at the bars or the clubs or whatever like that. Champions, CEOs and millionaires are not made by hanging out at the bars. They're made by sitting at home, researching, reading, focusing on their future, building a business, building their future. Where are you at on Friday nights? Where are you at on Saturday nights? Are you in the gym working out? Are you trying and studying for your next classes? Are you studying for that next business idea? Or are you at the clubs drinking beers and chasing girls or guys or whatever? Because that's where the champions are built. Champions are built based on their habits when nobody's watching. They're based on their habits when they're solo by themselves at night or early mornings, writing their dreams down, fixing their habits, focusing on their goals and their ambitions and their dreams. So you need to stop negotiating with your greatness, because you've got it in you. There's greatness inside of you. But you're letting your comfort zone talk you out of it. You're letting your friends talk you out of it. You're letting your friends talk you into going out to the clubs and taking a couple beers and stuff like that. You're letting your friends talk you out of it by trying and teasing you about how you always got your nose in books studying. Or how you're trying another business idea. I've had over 12 businesses over my entire life. And 4 of them have been really successful. That I've ended up selling them off. The others, nope. Nope. Thomas Edison, he had one light bulb. But he made 10,000 failures. Michael Jordan, 700 something different baskets. But over 10,000 times trying to make a basket. See, your habits are either protecting your purpose or poisoning it. And the more you practice your habits, the more it's going to push you towards your future. And if your habits are poisonous to you, going out drinking, going out doing something that's not going to build your future, then it's going to definitely bury your dreams, bury your goals, bury your ideas. But if your habits are something that's building your future, or along the lines of something that you want to accomplish in your life, then they're protecting it. And they're building your identity. And identity is the weak board in your foundation. So replace that one habit, not 10, and anchor it to a trigger. Repeat it until it becomes your identity, because when you repeat those habits on a daily basis, one habit repeated daily, that's 365 times a year. And you do that over and over again throughout your life, you have officially created one heck of a positive habit that will change your life. So yes, you don't need a new life. You need a system that makes winning automatic. Because when you fix that base, your whole house stands stronger. Because you know what? You've withstood more than people know. You've owned more stories and more scars and more challenges than people have seen. Now it's time to win in a way that nobody can ignore. It's time to step up. Make your next move your loudest one yet. Because before midnight tonight, choose one habit that becomes your new home base. Lay that cornerstone for your future. That one habit that becomes your new standard. One habit that becomes your new identity. Because doing one habit every day for a year, and then from there, every year after that, helps become your new identity. Thank you very much and have an excellent evening.